What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video. And today, we are going to be discussing, I guess you could say, the first official 2024 Republican primary. I may have done one of these in December or something like that, between Trump versus DeSantis or something like that. Well, guys, this is the first one with what is currently expected to be the major candidates for 2024. And we're going to be tracking this throughout the year based on polling data, based on endorsements, etc. Now, this is going to change because some candidates may not run. Some candidates may not be major candidates as we originally thought they were going to be. Others may enter. We don't know. But for now, we currently have 6 candidates that have either declared or you pretty much know, yeah, they're going to run for president. And these are the 6. Of course, former President Donald Trump, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, businessman Vivek Ramaswamy, Mike Pompeo, Tim Scott, and of course, Mike Pence. Yes, Pompeo, Scott, and Pence have not declared yet. It's looking more and more likely they will be entering the race. As for Ramaswamy, I just think with the funding he will get, considering the fact he is going to self-finance quite a bit, and for the fact he's been on Tucker Carlson, he's been on Sean Hannity, I think you could kind of be reasonable to put him as a major candidate. Now, again, that doesn't mean he's going to win 50 or 500 delegates in Iowa. It just means, imagine like an Andrew Yang type candidate. He's going to get a decent amount of vote, but I don't expect him to be a front runner that much. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter account in the description down below, and join the channel today. Guys, just for $3 a month, you could join Real American Politics. That's a phenomenal deal as it helps support the daily content we all know and love. So, if you want to join today, it's the best way to support the daily content. Recommend you join right now. Alright, let's get into today's video. Now, we got a couple disclaimers. One, we don't know exactly what the thresholds for each state will be just yet. I'm assuming they're going to keep 2016 rules in most places. So South Carolina obviously is going to be a winner-take-all state. Kind of. Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada are proportional. So we're going to do the first 4 states right off the bat and then work our way throughout the year on these states. See how they change and all that good stuff. Alright, so let us, of course, start with Iowa, which will be first in the Republican primary. The Democrat primary still don't technically know yet, but it's looking more and more likely it will be South Carolina. Who knows? But we're not dealing with the Democrat primary. We are, of course, dealing with the Iowa caucus. Now, I have my opinions about this. In 2016, Trump should have won this. If you know what happened with Ted Cruz, he essentially stole a bunch of votes from Ben Carson. That's what happened. People are going to say, oh, he didn't actually steal votes. It's like, you told everybody that Carson dropped out. And a large chunk of Carson's voters went to Cruz. Yeah, it probably did play an impact and probably did sink his campaign. I mean, it's pathetic what Ted Cruz's people did. This should have been Trump's state. But you look at the state as a whole. This is the one advantage about, for somebody like Mike Pence. There's a lot of evangelical voters in the New Hampshire or Iowa caucus. It's just a fact. The electorate is super evangelical. And while there are voters that aren't evangelical, of course, like the eastern half of the state, they're not as evangelical, you still got a large chunk of evangelical voters in central and northwestern Iowa. Now, the big advantage for Trump is, as of now, name recognition. That's why I think for now, he is going to win the most delegates in the state of Iowa. I think he gets around 14 as of now. Could it change? Absolutely, but 14, 15, I'll just put it at 15 for now. We got to see what happens. Now, Nikki Haley, I think, would do decent. Kind of like Marco Rubio. She would probably take third, maybe fourth, 5, maybe 6 delegates she gets. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, he is the Andrew Yang of this race. Unlike Yang, I see him probably getting a delegate or two, just for the simple fact of, with the low threshold requirements in Iowa, it's not as hard as a Democrat primary. Now again, the thresholds may change, so don't be for certain, but I think he would get probably a delegate or so. Pompeo, you could probably see him getting 2 or maybe 3 delegates. Tim Scott, I would say, would probably get just around what Nikki Haley would get in the state of Iowa for delegates. Maybe a bit more for both of them. Now, I think the rest of these delegates would go to Mike Pence. Not because he's the greatest candidate in the world, but there's a lot of evangelical voters, and that is going to be his main strength in 2024. Evangelicals. That's going to be the main thing that propels him in the second place, just for the fact there are a lot of evangelical voters in the state of Iowa. Now, we got to see what happens, but I think this is roughly in line with what would happen. Could Trump probably get more? Yeah. But just for now, based on endorsements, based on who's barnstorming the state, I think this is reasonable. Nikki Haley and Tim Scott kind of just split the vote. Pompeo gets a few, but I think Pence would actually take second in the state of Iowa. Now, at this point, I would see Ramaswamy probably drop out, but for argument's sake, let's say nobody drops out after Iowa. Now we go to New Hampshire. This was Trump's arguably one of his strongest early states. Now, he did better in New Hampshire than he did in South Carolina. A lot of this was because he was from the Northeast, but either way, he did get 35% of the vote when everybody else could barely crack double digits. I mean, John Kasich took second here. Now, if somebody like Sununu or Hogan runs, it could mess things up, but it's hard to tell if they will run. And I'm not going to include in this video just for the fact that we don't know for certain. Sununu, who knows? Hogan, he may run, but I don't think he makes it past Iowa. That's just how low support he would get. I think Trump would probably replicate his results like he did in 2016. He would probably get, 10, maybe 11 delegates, like 10 delegates or so. I could see somebody probably like, somebody like Kasich, so more like a Nikki Haley type would do decent here, I would assume. This might be Mike Pence's downfall. The evangelical vote in New Hampshire is basically non-existent, and he would suffer a lot of problems that Ted Cruz ran into in the state of New Hampshire, but I could see him probably picking off a couple delegates here and there. Tim Scott, he would probably just barely qualify for delegates. As for the other two, I don't think they would. Pompeo would get 0. This is where Ramaswamy would probably drop out. He just doesn't have the name recognition as of now to really make an impact. While I think Pompeo may hold around just for the fact he does still have a shot, but Ramaswamy would just be out at this point. So New Hampshire would be another Trump victory for him, which is good news because if he does good in New Hampshire and Iowa, this next primary day would, I think, determine the entire election. It's, of course, Nevada and South Carolina, which, as of now, are supposed to be on the same day as each other. So this is the most important day, because South Carolina is winner take all, technically. How it works is there's 29 delegates that whoever wins statewide gets it. But then the other 21 delegates, they're tossed around based on who wins each congressional district. So there's 21 delegates based on the 7 congressional districts. And just for the fact that Tim Scott and Nikki Haley, I think, would split the vote, Trump would probably take the vast majority of or a plurality of the vote. As for Tim Scott, he could probably pick off a couple delegates. Mike Pence, a couple too. Nikki Haley also, she could theoretically pick off like 6 just for being a governor of the state. But I think the rest of the delegates, roughly speaking, would end up like this. Pence gets 3, Scott gets 3, Haley gets 6. The vast majority would go to Trump. Now, the state of Nevada, this was Trump's percent-wise strongest state in the first 4. Got 46% of the caucus vote in Nevada. And once again, the similar trend happened. He did best in the white working class parts of Nevada. There's parts that he didn't, but Elko is a Mormon county. This is more of establishment, not really establishment. There is a Mormon population in Elko that did play an impact. But any other case, Trump still got the vast majority of the votes. And I think he would, once again, probably win the Nevada caucus. He would probably get 15 or 16 delegates pretty easily. I could see somebody like Nikki Haley just getting a few delegates here and there. Pence would actually probably take second in the state of Nevada. And something around that, Mike Pence gets around 6, Trump probably gets 15. You could see Pompeo maybe getting 1. And that, folks, would be my current 2024 Republican primary prediction for the first states. Things are going to change, obviously, but I think based on the endorsements, based on the polling data we got, I think Trump still sweeps the first 4, if this is the current field. If you add somebody like DeSantis, things could change. But for now, I think Iowa's leaning towards Trump. I think New Hampshire is going to be close, especially with somebody like Haley. I mean, she is a neocon, but there are a bunch of anti-Trump people in New Hampshire, the Northeast. But it's really going to come down to South Carolina. And I think Trump, for now, would win the South Carolina primary. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter account in the description down below, and join the channel today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.